everybody, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be creating an interactive Flutter card using Art Impressions, stamps, and dies. These really fun Flutter sets come with everything you need to make these interactive animals that will create a fluttering effect on your cards. These are really fun to play with. So I'm going to use all these products to create an owl birthday Flutter card. I'm not going to be showing you all the steps of creating the card because that would have made this video a lot longer, but I will touch on some of the highlights. For the owl itself, I did color him with Copic markers, and I used some pretty simple color shading because most of this owl is brown. So most of the coloring was this brown area of his body and his head, and I did add a few bright colors on the party hat. I used E50 markers to color the owl. I have all those colors linked in the video description below. And I used a few YR markers to create a golden tone on its feet and its beak. On the cheeks of the owl, I did add some rosy cheeks using a couple of R markers. And I blended those out then with my E50 marker just to give it a little bit of a softer look. So these Flutter sets from Art Impressions come with everything you need to make these interactive cards, including the dies and the little brad fasteners to be able to put all of this together. So I'm going to use those coordinating dies and cut the owl and its wings out of my cardstock. When you cut the owl out, he will have holes on his body. There will be 2 holes, one on each side. That's where you're going to fasten the wings. The wings also have holes, but this actually has 2 sets of holes. The reason that wings have 2 holes is because we're going to be lining these up with both the body of the owl and these holes that we're going to cut into a strip of paper that you'll use to make the interactive element. I'm using the Stitched Banners die set from Simon Says Stamp. However, you can even use just a strip of cardstock at 3/4 inches to create this same effect. I just liked the stitching banner detail on this particular die, and it was about the right size. Pretty much the only thing you're going to need that's not included in the kit is some string. So I'm just using a bit of twine here from the Stitch Happy line from We Are Memory Keepers. And I'm going to put this through the holes of our banner or little cardstock strip that's going to be the interactive pull piece. Then I'm going to take that same string on either end and run it through the outermost holes of the wings. I'm going to pull that tight so that way I have those wings butted up against the cardstock strip. Now my cardstock strip was a little bit too wide, so I'm just going to trim this down at the tops so that way it can still work as an interactive pull tab. The recommended size for the pull tab is 3/4 inches, so you're just going to want to make sure that you have your cardstock strip cut to that width. Once we have the wings threaded through that string, I'm going to lay the cardstock strip and the 2 wings that are attached together now with that string face down onto my owl. As you can see here, I'm lining up the holes that do not have any string through them with the body of the owl. I like to tape that down to make sure it's all stayed in place, and the next step is to take some sort of pen or pencil and tie that string off with that pencil or pen around it. This is going to give you a little bit of a loop once we've tied a couple of knots for this string to basically hold it in place. This loop is going to be what's allowing your wings to fly back and forth. However, right now they're not attached to the body, so we need to take those brads that are included in this kit and put them through the 2 holes that were lined up with the wings and the body. Once you've folded the brads over, that's now holding those wings in place. Make sure when you fold the brads over that you don't fold them over too tight. You want to give them a little bit of wiggle room so that way the wings will easily move back and forth. I took the tape off, and now you can see as we pull that tab, we have our wings fluttering up and down, which is so much fun. So we need to attach this to our card now. Also included in the die set is this little slit die. This die is going to cut a slit into your paper, and we're going to need to cut this twice. So I cut it once, and then about a 1/2 inch up, I'm going to cut it a second time. I'm running this through my Platinum 6 machine. Any die cutting machine will work for this technique. And then we'll add a piece of foam tape to the top of the owl where it's not going to interfere with the wings or the pull tab, and we'll take that pull tab and slide it through the slits. Then we'll line up our owl to where we want him to sit on our card and push him down, and he's held in place by that piece of foam tape and the pull tab is staying inside the track that we've now created with the slits. To attach this onto your card, you can either attach it with regular adhesive or foam tape. Just make sure you stay away from the area where the pull tab is showing through on the back. That's going to allow your pull tab to move back and forth super easily. Here's a look at how that interactive element is working out. It's turning out really cool and so much fun. I recommend having some sort of little element that allows your recipient to know that they need to pull on this pull tab to make the interactive element work. I really love the Push Here stamp set from Fawn, as it has so many fun interactive element notifications, so to speak, that allow your recipient to know whether they need to pull, push, shake, or whatever it is that you're adding to your card. So I use the Pull Here, and you can then decorate your card however you like. Just remember to make sure to not add any adhesive over top of the wings or the pull tab. Making sure to stay away from those areas and leave the adhesive off on those sections will allow your elements to move and not have any hindrance as the recipient plays around with the fun interactive element. So I finished off the card with some birthday elements and a lot of bright colors. I did some stenciling and added some fun sequins, and this really fun interactive card is finished. And I hope it's inspired you to try out these fun Flutter stamp and die sets, because these are really great interactive elements that allow you to create some really fun cards. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you will stop by the blog to see more details on this card, including still pictures and products used. There are also products linked down in the video description below, and there are 2 videos on screen right now that you might be interested in. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll be back again very soon with more inspiration for you. And until then, have a great day.